Okay, so we are live. Um,
Hello.
what's going on? How are things going up north?
It's Friday. It's a little cloudy here. I don't know what it's like there.
I haven't been outside except for this morning. It was supposed to rain today, and then it was sunny, and now I don't know if it's going to rain or not. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's pretty
All
cloudy.
right.
That's okay.
We've got some people joining. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like hopefully it'll be nice this weekend because my weekend isn't as busy work wise, so I'm hoping to be able to maybe do some fun stuff outside. I don't know.
Fun.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to commit to that just yet. But
going on a hike, working out.
you're
you're inspiring on the workout side. Oh, you do hate hiking?
It's the worst. It's walking uphill both ways practically, and it's hot and
getting eaten by mosquitoes.
We went hiking. We went to the Grand Canyon. I guess it was a year ago. I was not happy.
Cool. Oh,
it was cool. It was cool. Like I've got some really cool pictures. I took some awesome video. But as far as like activities, like I just kept stopping and everyone kept going. So then I had to like run to catch up to my group. Like I'm not meant to be a hiker.
Yeah, that's not my thing either. And I don't do camping unless it's glamping. So I don't want to lay on a hard ground in the heat.
Yeah. And in Texas, like you have like maybe a month that it's, acceptable weather. Outside of that.
Yeah, no.
Not so much.
No, when camping is cool is when you're like in Bolivia or somewhere in the mountains or Costa Rica or somewhere. And even then you better be prepared to rough it.
Well, yeah. And then it's like, yeah, no, I'm good on camping.
You're like, I'm good in the air conditioning resort with a pool and some margaritas.
Yeah. Perhaps an all-inclusive with all the snacks and beverages.
Which sounds really good to everybody right about now. I'll tell you what.
I was texting with one of my friends earlier today and I was like, how have you been? Whatever, because he's a photographer and videographer. So, his business has definitely been impacted, just different right now, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm so ready for a trip to like mountains or a beach or something, or just one of those places. I was like, or really just like not your living room, right? He's like,
no one ever wants to be at
anywhere. Yeah.
Anywhere but here is what they're saying.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so we're going to get started here in a minute and we'll share Amber's screen and get going. If you guys have questions, drop them in the comments.
Yeah.
And we can address them. We'll kind of Q&A at the end with whatever questions people have. I guess the first time I ever heard you guys speak was at, and I don't know if you know this or not, was at an HAR event a few years back.
Oh, I didn't know that.
You guys came down. Yeah, you guys came down for Engage, the HAR annual conference that we have. And if I'm going to be honest, I don't remember what your guys' presentation was, but I remember I loved it. I loved your energy. And so I'd followed y'all on social or was friends on Facebook for a while. I just
cool.
So yeah. But for those of you that don't know me, my name is Katie. I'm a real estate agent in Houston. Do you want to introduce, I guess, kind of how you got to what you guys are doing now?
Yeah, I actually have a slide for that because most people are like, "Who the heck are you?"
So you want me to share? You want me to share?
If you're ready to get into it, if not, I'll work on your timing. But
we've got some people hopping on, more coming in, so we'll get started and they can catch up, right?
Sounds good. Let's do it.
All right, so your screen is up now.
Okay. Well, thanks so much, first of all, for having me. I really enjoy, you said you followed us on social media for a few years. Maybe that's how I found you.
Okay.
Because I've been following you, or I'm the one stalking you. Now, so it must be just because of that social media that we connected with each other. But I've always admired your social media posting and how great you are at your content curation, and both on the personal side and work side. I mean, it's good to have a mixture of both. And so kudos to you. You do a great job. And also, everybody give Katie some hearts if you're watching this later, because she's been putting on some good content for you all week. So that's pretty cool. But no, I'm so glad to get to be here with you today to talk about Sphere video marketing, because I hear you've been focused on video all week with some different speakers. So I'm going to go ahead and roll into the presentation, since I know this is going to be kind of a shorter time, but there will be slides provided at the end, just in case we get asked. I move at a really fast pace typically. And so if you are watching this even later and you're like, hey, I'd like to get a copy of those slides, I'm going to give you a link at the very end of this presentation where you can go ahead and get a copy of the slides. And Katie, if it's okay with you, because it's Friday, I also wanted to make sure that all of your listeners would get a free gift today for being on today's live. And so we're going to be giving away our latest ebook, which is the Ultimate Reconnect Scripts with Your Sphere of Influence. And there's phone scripts, video text scripts, and video email scripts in this for how you can reconnect with your sphere. And I thought that might be something good to have at the end of our little talk, because we're going to be talking all about sphere and video. So this might be something that can get you started. And that link will be at the end of the presentation with the slides, and that'll lead to a Google Drive folder that I'll just share all that stuff with you. So yeah, so cool. So my name's Amber Joy, and I got my real estate license in 2002. I started in Overland Park, Kansas. I don't know if you know that about me, but it's from Midwest gal. And then after selling for quite a few years and doing really well after failing many times, I then got my broker's license, I'm fast forwarding like a lot of years. I started 3 real estate offices, recruited over 800 agents and trained them how to do what I was doing. And then in 2015, my husband and I co-founded Influential Agent together so that we can help agents full-time. We're doing a lot of coaching and education, and videos just really our passion, because we want to make sure that people can relationship build and influence in their markets, but by using the latest in technology like video. So that's why I love talking about topics like this. This is my big why of why I'm here. This is my family, and the middle guy there with me is my husband, Jason, also known as the Rook in the training world. He's also a very talented tech trainer. But if we haven't already connected on social media, find me after the presentation on your preferred media. I'd love to connect with you and get to know you better. Most of the URLs are at Mrs. Amber Joy is how you can find me. And of course, like Katie said, if you guys have any questions at all, just drop them in the comments. We'd love to answer those questions or have you chat with us as we move along. But one of the first things I like to talk about, Katie, is why are we talking about sphere of influence? Because Katie, for you, when you first got your license, outside of the regular legal stuff and contract stuff, wouldn't you say the first place they tell you to start is sphere of influence?
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, pretty much we've all been taught that, whether it was you got in the business 20 years ago or this year, most people are going to train you to start with your sphere of influence, the people who already know you, like you, trust you. But the reason I'm here talking to you today is because after consulting with hundreds and hundreds of agents at every level over the years, the number one mistake I see most agents making is they spend all their time going after new leads and ignore the people who they've already built trust with and already have raving fans with. And let me tell you why this is so detrimental to your businesses, because it's always easier to convert a warm lead than a cold lead any day. And a lot of us started with our sphere of influence, but after quite a few years of being in the business, we start chasing those shiny pennies. And there's nothing wrong with having multiple pipelines of leads. I think that's a good idea to have that. But we start working on those other lead sources so much that we start to ignore that warm lead category. Also, it costs 5 to 7 times as much to get a new customer as it does to get business and referrals from an existing customer. So it's more expensive to go after new leads versus the ones you already know. Also, another fact is that 15% of the people you know are moving this year. And 100% of the people you know knows somebody who's moving. Now, let's put this into context. If you have a sphere of 500 people, and each of them knows at least 100 people. There are 50,000 opportunities for real estate referrals right inside of that sphere category. Now, not everybody has 500. You're going to start with whatever number you're going to start with, but wherever that is, it's a great place to start. But this is the graph I like to show, and that is, to me, this is like the big picture of why your sphere marketing is so darn important. And that's because no matter how many lead sources you're going after, as you can see on the screen, there's different 1, 2, 3, 4. For everybody, that's different. Katie, for you, would you say Instagram would be one of your pipelines?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So whether it's Instagram or YouTube or for sale by owners or open houses, it doesn't matter what your pipeline is. When you go and actually convert some of those leads, that is now a met and should be in your sphere of influence now. So if this sphere category isn't taken care of, what you're doing is just adding a bunch of leads, which is very expensive and time consuming, to a system that leads down to something that's broke. It's almost like adding water to a tub with holes in it. I mean, it's going to be very frustrating, or it's that hamster wheel. Okay. You really, if you're working that hard to get those other pipelines in, you want to make sure that category is really taken care of. But those marketing techniques have changed over the years, and that's why we're here to talk about it. So even though it seems like a no-brainer, I know, Amber, we're supposed to market to our sphere based on all the numbers you gave, based on what you've been taught, but survey says, there was a survey done by Tom Ferry, actually, and I know, Katie, that you're a big fan of Tom Ferry. Studies reveal that only 4% of all agents stay in touch with past clients, customers, friends, and relatives. And can I just say that blows my mind? I just can't. Yeah. I don't understand it. I mean, have you seen this? Is this your experience?
Yeah. The GIF or the quote?
No, just the quote. I mean, like that blows my mind.
Yeah, same.
Because if that category is so important, what's happening here? Why is that only 4%? Not to mention that studies have shown that customer satisfaction does not equate with continued sales. So if you're thinking you're going to give phenomenal experience, whether they're a buyer or seller, that's good. But studies show that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to come back to you or send you referrals. Let's look at this, a stat by the National Association of Realtors. And they conduct this survey. You're probably a realtor listening. You know they do one of these surveys every single year from the dawn of time, it seems like. They conduct a survey of home buyers and sellers, and 85% of them said they would recommend their agent for future services. So they must have had good service, right? But yet they find over doing these every single year that only 12% actually did use that agent again. And the year before, that number was at 15%. So we're actually trending down. Why is that? Probably because only 4% are keeping in touch with them, and they're running into other agents. So again, not making a lot of sense to me on that side of things. Another thing we know is that automated systems don't create meaningful relationships. Here at Influential Agent, we love technology. I mean, we have bots, we have automations, we have landing pages. We love some automations, don't get me wrong. But when it comes to that sphere category and marketing to them, it's not meant to be automated. It's meant to be about relationships. And the big companies want you to believe that the same marketing that was working 20 years ago is still the marketing you should use today. Katie, this is no joke. I got my license 19 years ago, or almost 19 years ago. And can I tell you that the same companies that were making postcards back then and marketing are marketing the same exact way today. And most agents are buying that marketing still. Are you seeing that?
Yeah, I've seen some. I'm not going to call it specific things, but yes, I see it a lot.
Yeah, I'm not going to call out any companies or people because I'm not here to do that. But you've got to wonder, hasn't the way that people communicate changed over the years, and the things that are needed have to be different? So our marketing has to evolve too. That's why this topic is so important to me, because in reality, this kind of marketing is not necessarily what works anymore. I mean, we've got the Wikipedia email up here, even though it's about real estate news, and these great, we've got recipe cards. I mean, we've got schedules. And if you're sending these and they're working for you and you're getting referrals, then by all means, keep sending them out if they're working for you. But what we're finding is that this isn't training them that you're the real estate expert. This is like some great stuff that you're putting out, but is it training them that you're good at recipes or that you're really good at real estate? So really stop to think, are my mailers working anymore? And also, not to mention, most traditional programs will tell you to call people. And I'm not against calling people. I'm not, I don't want people to think that I'm trying to give you the lazy way out or that you shouldn't make phone calls, because almost every coach on the planet will say, make calls, make calls, make calls. I'm actually that coach is like, okay, you can make calls, but this is a national study done to consumers, and only 2 out of 10 people even answer their phone anymore. So if our plan is to do it the way we've always done it, you're going to be making a lot of calls and be very disappointed with actually how many people that you contact. So let me know in the comments, how many of you like making phone calls? What about you, Katie? Are you one of the 2 out of 10 that actually likes to be on the phone?
I like what it does for my business.
Yeah. But for your preferred, on the consumer side, do you like receiving phone calls and answering those?
No.
Yeah,
I do not.
Me neither. Now, can I ask, what is your preferred method of communication for somebody to contact you?
Yeah, I mean, I would say text, is always helpful. I think that text, then email, then phone, probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
Mine is like, okay, what was that joke or that meme is like, okay, my first method would be this, this, this. And then it had like a plane with a skywriter and then phone last. It's like, please call me last. Like that's the last, unless you're talking to like a family member or something like that. And of course I call clients. I don't mean that, but 79%, let's round that to 80%, Katie, surveyed the same as you did, is they prefer a text conversation. So if that's the case, we have to evolve, but normal text isn't necessarily what's going to separate you from the competition. So what are you guys going to do to connect, contribute, and reward? Because sphere of influence still works, and connecting and contributing and rewarding is still the formula you should use with your sphere, but you've got to incorporate video. And that's why I'm here today. So just quickly, why video with your sphere of influence is because it empowers you to use your greatest asset, which is you. How many of you have ever said, let me know in the comments, hey, if I can just get in front of somebody like at an open house or what have you, then I can really build huge connection. I just have trouble if I'm not in front of them. Well, just view video as the same. You're in front of them. It's a way for you to set yourself apart. It also allows you to get face-to-face with your audience, which helps you to connect, but also to build trust. And it can also increase your conversion rate by 80%. Now that is, if that's the only reason you need, we could move on right now. Also, though, it does separate you from the competition because most agents aren't willing to do video. Now, Katie's not one of those people because she's a video rock star. But if you look at the masses, most aren't willing to do video. So if you are willing to try video, or maybe you're already doing video, but you're going to decide to do more of it, it's instantly going to separate you from the competition. Now, here's what I say, though. You got to have a plan. Now, does it have to be a perfect plan in writing? No, we want to move forward with imperfect action to get started. But in general, yeah, you've got to have a plan. You don't just wake up in the morning and be like, hey, I know exactly what video to make today, or I know what's the way that you're going to contribute to your sphere of influence. And so I'm going to just share 3 quick tips with you today. We actually have 6 components that we use in our sphere marketing plan, but I'm just going to cover 3 quick tips for you today that involve video just to get you started. And that is personal contacts. I think this is the most important one of all, and it's the one that most people admittedly are embarrassed to say they don't do very often or very consistently. And most studies will say around the same number of contacts, which is if you plan to have a personal relationship with with somebody and expect to get referrals from them, then you need to be top of mind. So at minimum, you should be contacting your sphere of influence quarterly. Now, I don't mean that's the only contact they're going to have. We'll go into that later. But as far as a personal contact that is just to them, and because of the stat earlier that only 2 out of 10 people answer their phone, I'm going to say the best way to contact them is video. Because if 80% of them aren't answering the phone, what's our backup plan for the majority, for the 80%? And that is video. So what does that look like in your personal contacts? It looks like one-to-one. You might hear that word a lot with bomb or video people saying one-to-one. That just means personalized. It's from you to them. And here's just a couple tips. When I say personalized, I'm talking about saying their name. Because Katie, if I was to text you, but I sent you a video email, or I'm sorry, a video text, if I didn't say your name, what might you assume about that video?
I would think that it was probably sent out to, a lot of people.
Right.
Maybe.
You would think it was a mass text, probably. That's what I assume if somebody sends me one and they don't say my name. I actually got one yesterday, and I'm embarrassed to say I did not reply because it was sent to everyone and it had a specific call to action. But because it was sent to everybody and not just me, it didn't really give me that urgency to answer because they sent it to so many people. It didn't feel very personalized. So when we say one-to-one, go ahead and say their name. Now, contact them once a quarter, like we were saying. And the method, my preferred method, is text message, because you heard that 79% of people prefer text. Also, I'm already emailing them in other aspects of our program. So just in case my email is going to spam, I prefer to do video text first so that I have that secondary contact in case my emails are going to spam, that there's another way that I'm getting in front of them. Now, if you do video text, however, you want to make sure it's 30 seconds or less. Really, this is just you calling them by name, telling them who you are and that you're calling to check on them to see if they need anything or whatever specific script you're using at that time. But if it's over 30 seconds, you guys, their phone is probably going to block it. It's just too large of a file. Not to mention we all have short attention spans. But see how powerful it is. I know you got my cheesy picture here on the side. When they see your face in their video player, it's hard to ignore. And one of the biggest reasons that surveyed of people why they don't keep in contact with their sphere of influence is because they feel like they're bothering them. Have you ever felt like that, Katie?
Yeah.
Me too. I mean, I think, when's the last time your phone rang and you were like, oh my God, perfect timing, and you were talking to? It's so rare. So I get it. So what I would say, a great way to combat that is to send them a video text, because it totally takes that fear away of bothering them, because they can listen to it when it's good for them. You're sending it when it's good for you, but they're listening to it when it's good for them. And with your face in the player, it's going to be hard to reject that or ignore it later. So my preferred method is video text. Now, if you don't have their cell phone number, I would try to get that. But your next best would be like sending a one-to-one video email from like maybe a bomb inside of your Gmail. That's my next preferred. And then also you, of course, could use social media or Messenger to get those across. But that's kind of my preferred method there. I'm not going to show you that one video. Also, the next one, that was number one. The next one is video email. Now, with your sphere of influence, we suggest sending 2 video emails per month, not one a month. Now, one a month is what we would do for like our entire database that we don't know. Whereas our sphere of influence, they really forget what you do for a living or that you need referrals. Really every 14 days, you guys, or every 16 days is the actual stat. And I know that's sad, but it's just that it's not that they forget who you are. They forget you're not top of mind. They see so many marketing messages. I know for us, though, right now during COVID-19, we have doubled down. So we're sending weekly stuff out to our sphere just to be a huge, basically a support to them during this time. But normally you want to do at least 2 times a month to your sphere of influence by video email. And I put some stats on there from Bomb that shows, why we're using video inside of email. And you can see the stats are pretty impressive as far as why we would choose to use video email versus just regular email. It's just more interactive. Now here's one of Kate. Don't worry, Kate, I'm not going to push play or anything because I just talked to you about this in advance. Here's one of like Katie's video emails. And notice she's making it very specific to the time that's going on. And this is so important, you guys. Now is not a time to be sending canned content. I know both Katie and I are really kind of big fans of preparing content ahead of time and having a content calendar. But you and I were also talking about how we've had to pivot. You had to throw some of those ideas out, didn't you? Once all this happened, because you can't just send, hey, here's some great restaurants to visit right now, or hey, here's a festival's going on in town. I mean, it's just not relevant right now with COVID-19. So make sure these video that you're marketing to set you apart is real time. What's going on right now? It's relevant and it's valuable. And so good job, Katie, for keeping your stuff always relevant. This is just another example of things that this one went out yesterday. 3 things you need to know about the housing market. And it's not generic. It is specific to exactly what's happening right now. Now, we have had some of these shared up to 46 times on social media, because not only are we going to send these out to our sphere via video email, but you can post these on your business page as well. And they have been getting shared. They're getting great engagement. So I love that part. And then if you can include a call to action in those emails underneath the video with some kind of button, even better, whether it's to find their home value, whether it's to get a virtual appointment with you, and let it lead to a landing page, not just your website, because your website has so many different things they can do on it. And a landing page is just going to convert at a higher rate. That third piece, because the first one was personal contact, second one was video email, and the third piece is social media. I mean, how can you not use social media, especially right now? It's just a great way to get your message out and stay in front of people. I think the latest stat, I don't know if they've done a new study that I heard, Katie, on Facebook, is that people open the Facebook app anywhere between, was it 8 to 14, Jason? 8 to 14 times a day.
I'd say an hour for me. I don't know.
I was just getting ready to say that. If an agent's at an open house, which they're not right now, or if they're during COVID-19, it's an hour instead of a day, probably a little too much. And Instagram is even higher than that at this point. So why, if our sphere is hanging out there all day, why are we not having a strategy around how are we going to market to our sphere? How are we going to provide value on there? And so what I would say is the first way to provide value is to really care about what's happening in their lives. This is such an old saying, but no one cares how much you know until they know how much you care. So if you're doing nothing but advertising on your pages, but you're not engaging with anyone else on their posts, then the algorithm, number one, you're not going to have a great relationship with them. Number two, they're going to start ignoring your posts because they don't care. And number three, you're going to go down in the Facebook algorithm because the algorithm shows who you interact with and who they interact with. And if you're not interacting with each other, they're probably not seeing some of those awesome business posts or videos. So when you see simple posts like this, and this is obviously not going on right now, this was screenshotted from a while back when we could actually go outside and hang. If you see posts like this and it's your sphere of influence, you need to be interacting with them. That should be part of your daily plan. Now, you might already be doing it. If you're not, you could use Facebook lists as a way to organize that. You can go to our YouTube channel to find out more about that. But when you are interacting with them, instead of just leaving a heart or leaving a like, I want to encourage you to, because that doesn't really count in the algorithm, you guys, unless it's a business page. But these are personal pages here. So when I comment, what it tells Facebook algorithm is that I like, let's say I comment on Nicole's post. When I comment on her post, that's telling Facebook that I like Nicole's post. I like to interact with her because so it's going to pull Nicole to the top of my news feed. However, if Nicole doesn't interact back with me, then my posts aren't necessarily at the top of her feed. So when you are commenting, what you want to do is comment and ask a question. So Nicole, congratulations on your wedding. What was your favorite part of the day? You know, something like that, because when I pose a question, Katie, what are we hoping they're going to do back?
Respond.
Yeah. And when they respond, that's not only going to move us up in the algorithm, but it's also relationship building, because people, if you don't ask a question, they're just likely to be like, oh, that's so sweet. And they'll hit like or heart, which is great. but it's not getting you guys any closer together as a relationship or in the Facebook algorithm. And then the next thing you want to do is, of course, if you've been interacting at a high level with your sphere, you have to have a posting strategy too. So we've had to completely redo our posting strategy based on COVID. We had it done for the year, and then we went through and we're like, oh, not all those can be posted. Now, I have noticed, I know on the Tom Ferry, one of his webinars he had recently, he was telling a story about how some of the agents have this on autopilot and they haven't turned that off. And so they're posting inappropriate things and they don't even know it. So for example, somebody was like, how to get the best prices to go to the movie theater, or let's go hang out at the bar, or, you know, like whatever. And it's like, we can't do that right now. So it doesn't make you look real smart as a marketer to be putting things that aren't relevant. So you are going to have to pivot your message a bit and be thinking about, when I send a video email, I'm going to also be posting that on my social media, but I can't just post about business every day. I have to actually plan some interaction with them. So you can see that that's what we do on our calendars, is just try to figure out what can we do to offer value, but also fun, also gratitude, evidence of success, engagement questions, and all of the above are important inside of your sphere marketing plan. Now, the reason I'm mentioning this in this kind of talk with you today is every Tuesday and every Thursday, Katie, are going to be videos, because video is where it's at. Facebook loves video and they love lives even more. So every Tuesday we have planned a live topic. Now you can do it any day you want. We just like Tuesdays because that seems to be a great day for us and a great day for engagement. And then Thursdays we're posting those videos that we emailed out. So video has got to be a huge part of your social media content calendar. Now, Katie, I know you guys do a great job. Is this something like similar to, that's probably a loaded question, but we take a class, but I know you guys kind of spend a little bit of time calendaring yours out as well, right?
Yeah. As you said, we kind of had to pivot our marketing plan for the year. But yeah, I mean, we definitely do the Thursday updates from the Sphere Influencer. Sure. And then we have other things that we've been doing as far as neighborhood spotlights and stuff like that. It's kind of an everyday as we're going to places. But yeah,
I would say you're doing video like daily, like you're the rock star that everybody should be patterning after, because the more video you do, the better. But build it into your plan, because I think you told me that some was built in, but then some is just on the fly. If you're somewhere cool and there's a way to do a video.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's basically what we do. Yeah, I mean, we had a whole plan for like different spotlights on each day and things like that. But obviously with, you know, things the way they are right now, we haven't been going out as often. Mm-hmm. So you've actually, similar to the video you showed of your screenshot, you've seen me in this same outfit at my dining room table. So.
And no one knows that I'm wearing pajama bottoms right now. So,
well, now everyone knows.
Yeah, I'm not really, but I think that would be awesome if I was. Now, one thing that I hear a lot, Katie, is that people, I've said video a lot just in this presentation. Now, I know it's supposed to be about video, but I tend to get a lot of, whoa, hold up. I don't like video, Amber. Can you give me some other strategies that don't involve video? And here's the thing, you guys. Here's the top 3 objections when we surveyed over 27,000 realtors, and their top 3 objections. Now, let me know in the comments if you can relate to any of these. I don't like how I look on video. I don't like how I sound. And number 3 survey was, I don't know what to say. Can you relate to 1, 2, or 3, or all 3? Let us know in the comments, whether you're watching live or later. 1, I don't like how I look. 2, I don't like how I sound. And 3, I don't know what to say. Now, I'm going to be transparent and let you know, my first videos were horrid. I mean, I really need Jason to pull some of those just so I can post them so you guys believe me. Like, they were so bad. And I thought all 3 of these things about myself, and those will still creep in from time to time. But, you know, it was one of my coaches that really got me, really a mentor that got me out of my comfort zone with this. And that is, do you notice something about what's on the screen? All 3 of these excuses start with the word I. And when he told me that, I was feeling a little convicted. He said, now, did you notice all your excuses start with the word I? He said, well, why did you get into this business? Was it for I? Was it for you? Was it for I? And I said, no, that picture I showed you of my family is part of my big why. I also have a lot of people that I want to help, and I can't do that if I don't sell a lot. He said, well, it sounds like none of this is about I then. Sounds like it's about other people. And can I just tell you, that hit me square in the face. And it sounds so simple, but you guys, you got into this business for something way bigger than you probably. So connect with that and push yourself outside the comfort zone. Because what's that saying? The comfort zone is where dreams go to die. Okay. So push yourself out of that comfort zone. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but you're going to be so happy you did. So just to recap here, guys, the number one mistake I see most agents making is spending all their time going after new leads and really ignoring that sphere category, that really important sphere category. And let me just tell you the impact of that. The impact of ignoring your sphere. If you have a sphere of 500 people, let's do some math here. It's easy math, nobody panic. And you followed a consistent plan using video, consistent sphere marketing plan. And 20% of them sent you a referral, which is around the national average if you're running a really good sphere marketing program that's consistent. 20% of them sent you a referral. That's 100 hot leads a year, you guys. And warm leads and hot leads are so much better than going after those other categories. Let's say only half of those converted. That's still 50 sales a year. Now, I don't know your average sales price because I don't know where all of you are watching from or what your average commission is, I guess would be more important. But around here in the Dallas area, that equates to around $450,000 in gross commission income per year. And can I tell you, that is something worth not ignoring your sphere for. Now, that is something worth getting out of your comfort zone as to how you look and how you sound on video. And the only way to get better is to do them. Is to do more and more of them. Now, I did want to tell you guys, if you need help with this, this is something that I'm very passionate about helping people with. We are here at our company at Influential Agent. We do supply a program called Sphere Influencer. And if you want any details on that later, feel free to send me a direct message. I'm happy to go over, but we basically supply real-time relevant scripts to all of our coaching clients about what they could be doing, what they could be posting that's going to get engagement and really provide massive value to your sphere. So if you're interested in that, you can go to getsphereinfluencer.com and I'll have my assistant drop that in the comments, getsphereinfluencer.com, or just send me a DM. I'm happy to talk to you on Facebook or whatever your preferred method is. And also, I would like to drop a link in the comments for the slides and for your free gift. And of course, I can stick around if you guys have any questions, but both those links will be dropped inside of the comments. If you guys have any questions about anything we talked about, but I just wanted to thank you for the opportunity to be on here and encourage you guys that video is something that needs to be incorporated into every aspect of your business, but definitely you want to start with that foundation, which is your sphere of influence. And that's all I got for you today, Katie.
No, that's such great information. And the numbers are so powerful. I think that, it's something that marketing and especially video and sphere marketing, it's like, okay, I know I need to do it. I know I need to do it. But when you actually break it down with the numbers, it's like, man, what am I've just got to figure it out, So,
yeah. And you know what? Most of us knew that, or we knew how important it was from the beginning. I know even for me, I started out with this great sphere of influence because they tell you, right, when you get your license, just get this great list together. But the longer you're in the business, the more the database gets really messy and there's so many names in there all together and you're not even sure who's who and what you're sending out to who. And you just kind of start automating things and sending it out. And the more cleaned up we can get that, the more value we can supply to that really important group.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. If anyone has any questions, drop them in the comments. I appreciate you guys all joining. I'm sharing right now on the screen the handouts and slide deck and all that. So that's a bit.ly link for you guys to go check that out. So yeah.
Great. Cool. So are you going to do anything exciting this weekend?
I was just going to ask you the same thing.
Well, we only have one kid. I think we have our first kid-free weekend for the first time in a very long time. We have a blended family and our kids are going to be with their exes. So with our exes. So I think this is with somebody's ex. I don't know.
Someone, but not here.
And with all three of them living here full time and homeschooling here, that we love them to death, but that is going to be so nice to have a kid-free weekend, as I'm sure one of them's walking around like, that's not very nice, Mom.
Yeah. So you're just going to like sit in silence in separate rooms.
Right. It's going to be the best silence I've ever heard.
Yeah, no, I commend all of the parents right now that are juggling, full-time jobs and, figuring out homeschooling and all that. So yeah, hats off to you on that.
It's been fun. I know, one thing we won't be doing is watching Tiger King, because I was watching an episode of that because everybody's talking about it all over social media. So last weekend, was it last weekend? I think it was. And Jason walked in during like episode 2 or 3. And that was probably one of the most wildest ones. And he's like, I can never unsee that, Amber. I thank you so much for so he's like, please don't make me watch the rest of those.
It doesn't get much better. So like, I think you guys stopped at a high note. It goes downhill. I can't get those brain cells back. That time
Katie,
in my life,
I have to admit to you that I've already watched all of them. He just won't. So I could not stop watching the train wreck. I mean, you're right, though. That was some wasted time. Yeah. No. But the curiosity just was killing me. So I think that's what they're counting on. But
did you watch the reunion one?
Of course I did.
Okay. I don't ask stupid questions. I'm sorry. No,
I love it, because some of the questions they asked during that was, because I have so many questions, Katie, I could have done a whole podcast about the questions I have after watching that. And so some of those were answered in the reunion, which was, why was his first husband never in a shirt? Like, were the producers the entire time like, hey, be shirtless? They answered that in the
Oh, now you're piquing my interest.
Now you're gonna have to watch the reunion, and he has teeth now. So
I saw that. I went down a pretty deep hole of like, how like if you go on BuzzFeed or some of those sites, like at the bottom have more articles that may interest you. So like I started on one, and then I was like 5 articles of Tiger King in, and I was like, put my phone down, get back to work, like get off Facebook and Instagram, and like back into work.
COVID is done to us.
But yeah, no, I mean, I think that I truly appreciate everything you guys do. And the Sphere influencer program is so great. So if you guys, DM her and check it out, go to the, getsphereinfluencer.com and check it out. Because it is helpful.
We love having you in the program.
To have relevant information and the scripts are good. I would say we like having them to make them our own as well, So it's like, okay, I like this. Let me add this in.
Yeah.
Let me take
this
out.
Change it to match my personality.
Yeah. But it's like, it's already conversational. So just as is, it's pretty easy, but
Good. Well, thanks for that. We're excited about it.
Cool. Well, awesome. I appreciate your time today.
Yeah.
Enjoy your quiet weekend.
I will. You do the same.
All right, y'all. Cool.
Talk to you later.
Thanks for joining.
Bye-bye.
Guys.